Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Joe. Come and be his guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
Here's our lady M.D. She's as pretty as can be at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
What's that? Somebody sick?
No, I'm putting it in Glen Tinker's room. That's what all the big hotels do when a celebrity arrives. Right, Billy Joe?
Well, I'm afraid I've never been that big a celebrity. All I ever found in my room was a sign saying, please turn out lights when leaving.
Last actor we had here checked out on the fire rope without paying his bill.
Glen Tinker is not just some actor. He's a big star.
Never heard of him.
That's because he hasn't done anything.
How's that again?
I mean, lately. Right after his first record came out, he was drafted.
Was it that bad?
Uncle Joe, now don't tease her. It's her favorite record. She's been playing it night and day for almost 2 years.
As soon as he gets here, I'm going to have him autograph it for me. You cried when I died at our wedding. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Said you didn't know what you were going to do. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Then you went ahead and got married. Now my best man is wedded to you.
What's that?
That's the record.
You only got 2 years for that?
It's the cannonball. Aren't you excited? Aren't you just thrilled?
Bobby Joe, hasn't it ever occurred to you that you go absolutely ape over anyone even remotely connected with show business?
But Glen is different. Why, just listening to his record, you can tell he's different.
I'll go along with you there.
Isn't it exciting? Glen Tinker's going to be sleeping here in person.
I don't see how he can even sleep with a record like that on his conscience.
You've never heard his record.
Well, you've never even seen him. Bobby Joe, I don't know what you're getting so excited about.
Doesn't matter. I can tell by the sound of his voice. He's tall and slim and very good looking.
Howdy. I'm Glen Tinker. Did I say something nasty?
Oh, no, we're expecting you.
Yeah, you're the fellow with a tall, slim, good-looking voice.
How about that? At least I got one booster in town.
Oh, you have more than one booster. Even if you do sound a lot slimmer on your record.
You got my record, so you're the one. Oh, Sugar, you better keep hold of it. That just could be a collector's item. You know, we only sold about 200 of them. My mother bought 100.
Oh, well, then at least somebody else bought the other 100, huh?
No, they give her the other 100 as a bonus.
You're just being modest.
Yes, ma'am. Where does a modest star go to register?
Oh, sign right over here.
I was the first one to get your record in all of Greater Hooterville.
No kidding.
The day it came out, I rushed right down to the post office.
Post office?
Well, our store doesn't have a music department anymore.
Mr. Drucker had to take it out to make room for the post office.
The way my record was selling, he made a good move.
Well, don't feel bad, boy. Even Morton Downey hadn't been selling too well.
Oh, Janet, you got here just in time. Look who's here, and in person. You mind simmering down long enough to tell me just whom we have here in person? Glen Tinker.
You're Glen Tinker?
Looks like I said that nasty word again.
Oh, Mr. Tinker, this is Dr. Craig.
Doctor?
She's a woman, Doctor.
I haven't been away long enough not to notice that.
Mr. Tinker, were you with Company K, 4th Field Division in Da Nang?
Why, yes, ma'am. Why?
Well, among my civic duties as a doctor, I happen to be the local representative of the IAA, the International Adoption Agency. It's a worldwide organization dedicated to the welfare and placement of orphan children.
Oh, that's good work.
Well, this telegram states that a little 4-year-old orphan has disappeared from the adoption center in Da Nang.
I wouldn't know anything about that, ma'am. Let's see, a sign right in here, do I?
They have a suspicion that the child might be found with a man who was recently discharged from Company K.
Oh, really? Well, some of us soldiers sort of looked after some of the poor little tacks that were homeless without kinfolk, but legal adoption, that had to be handled through regular channels. That's regulations. This pen doesn't write.
Oh, that's all right. We know who you are.
The child's name is Tammy Kwong. Did you know her?
Tammy Kwong. Well, I seem to remember a little girl with that name, but we sort of looked after her. But we broke camp while she was assigned to an orphanage. Anything else, ma'am?
No, I guess not. I'll notify the representatives in Washington that she's obviously not with you.
Obviously.
I'm just following through. No offense.
No offense. You know, I'm just thinking if the Army had doctors like you, they could finally do away with the draft.
Would you like a piece of candy?
Well, thank you. Yeah, candy kisses.
Not you, boy.
Well, you mind if he has one on me?
Here's your key, Mr. Tinker.
Oh, thank you. That's Glen.
Glen, you're in number 9.
Oh, you'll like number 9. It overlooks where we always wanted the pool.
Say, pretty senior to be welcome after 2 years of living in the mud.
Well, good. Come on, I'll show you where your room is.
All right.
Oh, I'll help.
Oh, no. I mean, that's kind of heavy for a pretty little girl.
Oh, well, then I'll get this.
Yeah, I'll take your duds up.
Mighty obliged.
Petticoat Junction.
You'll find lots of towels, and there's plenty of hot water if you get up at the right time.
Well, what time is that?
After it's our time to get hot and before it's all gone.
Thank you. That's nice.
Here's a Gideon that might come in handy. Never heard an actor to read a Bible.
Uncle Joe.
And the basket of fruit is with the compliments of the management.
Well, that's thoughtful.
I thought of it.
I don't know how in the world ever people eat all that.
Well, waste not, want not, I always say.
Try some of those peaches. We grow them ourselves.
Well, not right now, thanks. I got some music I'd like to routine for the show tonight.
Oh, fine. Well, we'll leave you alone for a while. Come on, Bobby Jim.
Okay, Tammy. The jig's up. You can come out now.
That's the kid the authorities were looking for.
Now, Uncle Joe, don't jump to conclusions.
Give Mr. Tinker a chance to explain.
There's nothing to explain. I know a hot kid when I see one.
I'm afraid he's right. You see, when Company K shipped out, little Tammy didn't like the idea of being left behind in an orphanage, so she went and hid in my duffel bag.
You didn't know anything about it?
Oh, no. Matter of fact, just before I left, last thing I said was, now, don't you go hide in my duffel bag.
I'm sorry, Boss.
Isn't she adorable?
Just darling. Isn't she, Uncle Joe?
Yeah, she is kind of a cute little filly.
Thank you, Uncle Joe.
Now, don't you go to using any women's tricks on me. It won't work.
Tammy, I'm afraid we're in for a little trouble.
Should I put it back?
No, you can keep it.
Can I keep the candy, too?
Candy? Where'd you get candy?
I liberated it.
Well, Tammy, don't you know that's wrong?
It liberated me.
It looks like I didn't do a very good job of it. If these nice people decide to turn us into authorities, we might get 20 years.
But together?
Don't you worry, baby. In or out, we'll be together.
Gee,
If you and the little girl want to be together so badly, why are you hiding her? Why don't you just adopt her?
It's not that easy. When you go to the adoption board, they ask you loaded questions like, what kind of home can you provide for her, and how do you plan to support her?
And you don't have the right answers.
Well, not yet. This is my first job since I got out of the Army. You know, if we just planned on laying low till I could establish myself, and then maybe I could go in and pick up the pink slipper, no trouble at all.
Yeah, but what kind of a life would she have in the meantime, traveling around in a duffel bag?
It's a good duffel bag. I like it.
Thank you, honey. But the lady's got a point. You know, in a way, I'm kind of glad you folks found us out. Maybe turning us in's the best thing for the kid.
What kid? I don't see no kid.
Yeah. What kid? Do you see a kid?
No, I don't see any kids.
I don't see a kid either.
I tell you, it looks like we bailed out over friendly territory.
Roger.
And she's just about the most adorable child you ever saw. Present company accepted, of course.
Don't worry, Bobby Joe. She isn't the jealous type.
Listen, if this is such a big secret, why are you telling us?
Well, what's the sense of having a secret if you can't tell anybody?
Besides, we thought you two could stay here and take care of Tammy while Glen's performing tonight.
Of course. I think it's romantic bringing a cute little girl home in a duffel bag. Don't you, honey?
I said little girl.
I tell you what, you be a good little girl. And tomorrow I'll tell you what a big hit it was.
But we didn't say my prayers.
Well, I figured on account of me being so late, we could double up on it tomorrow night.
But if we don't say our prayers, maybe you won't be a big hit.
Well, all right, but hurry up.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray thee, Lord, my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray thee, Lord, my soul to take. Over and out.
Tammy, you don't say over and out to God, you say amen.
Amen. And God bless Boss and make him a big hit.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'm not finished yet. And God bless Private Murphy and Corporal Gonzalez and Private Jensen and Private Schwartz and...
Tammy, we ain't got time for roll call. Just say God bless Company K.
And God bless Company K. And don't let Boss go until I'm asleep.
Oh, Tammy, I'm surprised at you. I always thought you was a brave little soldier.
I was, but now I'm AWOL, and they're looking for me.
Well, don't you worry, little pal. I'll be here till you go to sleep.
I'm just an old black choo-choo on a rusty railroad track. They put me in the choo-choo graveyard and they're never gonna bring me back. They're pulling my cars with a diesel, and the diesel sure looks proud. But he'll never make the sound of a choo-choo when he blows his whistle loud. There's many, many little children never thrilled to a choo-choo sound. Better put me back on the railroad. Let me keep on chugging round. My stack was black and shiny on the day of my trial run. I'll never forget how they eyed me as I glistened in the sun. I'll be the diesel's helper if they'll only set me free. I'll blow my whistle at crossings, make the diesel proud of me. There's many, many little children never thrilled to a choo-choo sound. Better put me back on the railroad, let me keep on chugging around.
hours ago we left here. And now Glen has a whole new career.
Yeah, recording contract and everything.
Is that what that guy was talking to you about?
Well, I'd say this calls for a celebration.
Man, that's what I've been doing ever since.
Come on inside.
You really were good.
So you see, son, you're going to need a manager. And are you in luck? Now, I'll do for you what I've done for all the big ones. Caruso, Gene Autry, Singing Sam. What's the matter?
I'm sorry, but we had to call her in. Tammy had a bad stomachache.
Well, is she all right? What'd you give her? Paregoric's best. Tell you what, you better...
Mr. Tinker, I am a doctor. I think I know what I should prescribe.
Well, sure. Well, what'd you give her?
Paregoric. Oh, she'll sleep well now. Now, would you mind telling me just how it is that that child is in your possession?
Well, it's kind of a long story.
Well, for your sake, I hope it's a good one.
Oh, it is. You see, back in the day, this poor little tyke was plumb out of kinfolks. So Glen and some of his buddies sort of adopted her.
Well, you might say she adopted us. That kid loved every guy in the company.
Well, we are all proud of how good our boys overseas are to children. But don't you think that smuggling one out of the country is going a little bit too far?
Glen didn't smuggle.
No. As a matter of fact, when we broke camp to come home, she went and hid in my duffel bag.
That's true. Tammy told us so herself.
And during the entire trip back to the States, she was in your duffel bag and you didn't even know it?
No, ma'am. A couple times I'd drop in a sandwich just in case.
A fine home for a child.
I shot holes in it so she could breathe. Well, not while she's in it.
Well, what surprises me is the rest of you knowing about it and not telling me.
But we were only trying to protect you.
Protect me from what?
From feeling like a rat in case you had to blow the whistle.
Uncle Joe, looking out for the welfare of a homeless child happens to be my duty.
I told you she'd blow the whistle.
Oh, please understand, it's my duty.
Couldn't you go off duty just till we get out of here?
Yeah, if he loves the little girl and the little girl loves him, what's wrong with them being together?
Well, I'm sure that Mr. Tinker loves the little girl. But raising a child isn't like having a pet. Now, the foundling home will see that she's well cared for. And eventually, the adoption board will award her to prospective parents who've been properly investigated.
I don't care what their qualifications are. You'll still be giving her away to strangers. Seems to me a kid ought to have the right to pick whose duffel bag they want to hide in.
Well, I don't make the rules. Now, I'll call the authorities and try to set up a hearing for tomorrow. You can tell your story to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, Billy Joe.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night, Bobby.
Good night. Good night, Dr. Craig.
Good night, Uncle Joe.
Good night, whistleblower.
Good night.
About ready, Your Honor?
In just a moment.
Hear ye, hear ye.
That won't be necessary. This is just an informal hearing.
Okay, don't anybody hear ye.
I must commend Dr. Craig for this very detailed and comprehensive report. This seems to be a most unusual case. Mr. Tinker, I hope you're prepared to answer a few questions.
Just give them your name, rank, and serial number.
Go ahead, Your Honor. Shoot.
First, do you realize that having this child in your possession constitutes a violation of the law?
Well, Your Honor, I was only trying to hide her out long enough until I could get going good enough to adopt her legally.
Well, that's quite admirable, I'm sure. But are you qualified?
Well, why not?
What would a young single man know about children?
Well, I started out as one.
Let's turn them back.
Quiet.
What did she call you?
Boss. I taught her to call me that, because I don't think it sounds nice for a kid to call a grown-up by his first name.
Well, boss. Doesn't that imply a rather unusual relationship for one who aspires to be a parent?
I don't know. Maybe kids would be a lot better off today if they found out right from the beginning who's boss.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, just being an expert on child psychology is hardly enough. A responsible parent must be able to provide more security than just hiding out in a duffel bag.
Well, that's all going to be changed. I mean, that security I was looking for is right around the corner.
Oh? How so?
Well, I believe everybody will tell you I was a smash last night.
That's right, he was.
And a guy from a record company came by and caught the act, and he offered me a recording date.
And maybe this time his record will be a hit.
Well, I'm sure that we are all aware of the ups and downs in the show business. Suppose this record doesn't sell. Suppose it isn't a hit.
It'll sell. I got to go from door to door selling it myself. Don't you understand, Your Honor? We love each other.
I understand. It's all been made very clear in this report.
It has.
She said something nice.
However, it is my responsibility to choose parents who have what the law considers proper qualifications.
Just a minute, Your Honor. When it comes to choosing a parent, I think a kid ought to have the right to pick whose duffel bag they're going to hide in.
Dr. Craig, just whose side are you on?
I'm on her side.
And you think this man, with his profession, could provide the proper supervision? For instance, what happens when he has to go out nights to work, and this child is left alone with nobody to watch her?
Oh, he always tucks me in and makes me say my prayers before he leaves.
What does that have to do with it?
God watches me.
Well,
that's what's so tough about this job. He watches me, too.
well, perhaps I can make your decision easier. As far as the instability of show business, suppose Mr. Tinker were to have a steady occupation right here in Hooterville.
Doing what?
Well, this morning I went to town and inquired about the old blacksmith shop. It hasn't been used for years, and it's a fine location.
Madam, even show business is more secure than waiting for horses to come back.
We could convert it into a music store.
That's a great idea.
It'd sure be going from door to door.
Do you mean that you would be willing to give up your career for this?
I was kind of looking forward to bigger things, but I guess it's the little things that count.
You mean we're giving us show business?
If I can give it up, you can give it up.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up. This boy can give up his career. I guess the least we can do is meet him halfway, right? Right. You're in, son.
Then I'll just 1 minute. I'll admit I am very impressed, but I still have reservations about awarding the custody of this child to a single man. It's almost irregular.
Well, I've stuck my nose in it this far. I suppose I might as well go all the way.
You mean you're going to get hitched?
Oh, no, not that. Now, I'm willing to assume responsibility for Tammy's care, along with Mr. Tinker.
Me too. Me too. Oh, we'll help.
Well, I guess that about does it, huh, Judge?
Sorry. I have the legal authority here, but I'm afraid I won't be able to sign this.
Why not?
This pen won't write.
Son, about this music store of ours. I think it's only fitting that you should be the general manager.
Well, thanks.
I'll only act in an advisory capacity as the chairman of the board and president. I remember old Irving Berlin coming to me once and saw he couldn't take a style.
This weekend, as a special tribute to our new viewers in Nevada, the Wonders of TV Land is made in Las Vegas. You'll see bright lights, showgirls, and quick weddings this Saturday and Sunday on the Wonders of TV Land. Now stay tuned for Green Acres, next on Nick at Night's TV Land.
Petticoat Junction.